Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. There is a loud debate going on in Washington right now, one that we participate in, about border security, whether to build a wall, how much funding ICE should get, whether our detention centers are big enough to hold everyone they need to hold. People argue about these questions every day. You watch it on TV. And so it seems like the parties are divided on the matter. But on a deeper level, there really is no debate. There is instead consensus. Virtually everyone in our political system knows, as an article of faith, that mass immigration is good for our economy. Immigrants make us richer. The Chamber of Commerce tells us that often. Libertarian think tanks produce studies claiming to prove it's true. In the Democratic Party, it is a bedrock principle. America would collapse without a steady torrent of new arrivals from the developing world. That's what they tell us. Immigration doesn't just improve the economy. We wouldn't have an economy without it.
I want us to be a country where hard-working immigrants who pay taxes, and by the way, 1/2 of undocumented workers pay federal income taxes.
These people are just waiting for a chance to be able to contribute fully. And by that standard, 11 million undocumented aliens are already Americans, in my view.
We can't continue to grow this economy unless we grow more diverse and take in more immigrants.
Our history and the facts show that immigrants are a net plus for our economy and our society.
Half of illegals pay their taxes, says Hillary Clinton. You should be impressed and grateful. Well, this is not a new talking point, as you could tell from the aging video we just showed you. But like everything in this country, it has accelerated dramatically in the past couple of years. The left's new position is that immigrants aren't just good for America, they're better for America than you are. They don't complain, they don't file HR complaints, they don't get expensive long-term diseases like diabetes or opioid addiction. They just do what they're told. They're the noble workers our leaders have always wanted. Just 2 days ago, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, who, by the way, is running for the president, explained that every single immigrant in America is good, no matter how they got here or why, just by virtue of the fact that they're immigrants. Ever heard anyone say that about American citizens? No. And don't hold your breath. But Gillibrand clearly meant it about immigrants. Watch.
There is no such thing as an illegal human. You have immigrant populations across this state, refugee populations that make your economy stronger, that make your city and states stronger, that make this country stronger.
Falsest person in Washington. But she's saying something that everyone else believes. Immigrants make our economy stronger. Okay, that's the claim. Is it true? Well, in some cases, it is true. Plenty of immigrants have done a great job in this country. They are highly patriotic. They're successful in business. They are great neighbors and friends. Everybody knows people like that, and everybody's glad they're here. But not every immigrant is like every other immigrant. Now, don't tell Kirsten Gillibrand, but they're not all the same. Our current immigration system treats them like they are. It treats people like widgets. Our government does virtually nothing to separate the good from the bad. A system like that is not designed to help America. It's designed for the benefit of foreigners. And by that measure, it has been wildly successful. A new study shows that just last year, immigrants living in the United States sent at least $120 billion in remittances to the countries they came from. Even in an age of expanding costs, $120 billion is a lot of money. It's more, for example, than we spent on the first Gulf War. It's more than the entire Russian military spends every 2 years. That's enough money to buy Costco, not the stuff on the shelves, but the entire company, and still have $15 billion left over. It's a lot of money, and all of it could be going to Americans, many of whom badly need it. But instead, Mexico received $33 billion in remittances just last year. That country's own president admits the Mexican economy would go under without those remittance payments. In Guatemala, remittances from the United States amounted to a full 11% of their entire GDP. In El Salvador and Honduras, that's 18 and 20%, respectively. In the past decades, those three countries have received a total of $120 billion in remittances from the United States. And by the way, it's not just Latin America that's benefiting from this. China, which hardly needs it, gets $15 billion a year in remittances. India, $10.5 billion. Vietnam, $7 billion. Nigeria, $5.5 billion. Russia, $300 million. We could go on and on. Now, none of this is an attack on immigrants. In most cases, they're just helping their families back home, and good for them. It's not their fault. It's our fault. Much of this money has never been taxed at any level. More than 10 million illegal aliens are believed to be working in this country under the table. And that's part of the reason that between 2012 and 2016, an estimated 39 million Social Security numbers were stolen from Americans for fraudulent use, a fact that's rarely reported. But legal or not, immigrants send their earnings abroad, and they pay nothing when they do it because remittances are untaxed. It's a pretty good deal for Mexico and Guatemala. When was the last time you made a financial transaction that wasn't taxed? Can you even remember? At one point, the Trump administration proposed a remittance tax. Lobbyists for Mexico didn't like the idea. The idea went nowhere. We can't fix that on this show. What we can do is be honest about what is happening. Immigration is good for our economy? Sure, it can be good. Immigration is always good for our economy? More immigration is always better for our economy? No, that's a lie. There is nothing to support that claim. There's a lot of evidence to disprove it. Anyone who tells you that, and that's pretty much everyone you see on television, either doesn't understand the subject or is lying to you purposefully, and maybe both, just so you know.